Trent, first quarter especially, it seemed like you were all over the field. You got after JC French, you fumbled it, you fell back on it. What was going well for you guys as a group early on?
That was a big emphasis, going into this game. If you look at how we performed last game versus Liberty, we came out kind of flat, and the offense did a good job of playing complimentary ball, picking us up. But this week we had to go out there and smash them, early. We're at our house, so it felt like it was an extra emphasis to jump on them.
You guys pretty much forced them to have to go through the air because there was not much going on for them run game wise. How much of an emphasis was that this week, especially when you saw what the potential conditions were going to be out on the field?
Huge. I mean, last year if you look at their team and just Georgia Southern in general, the way they run their offense, they start with the counter with the running backs. They have good running backs and they run the counter well. The things they do often, they do them well. So we had to eliminate that. We put emphasis on knocking out the run game in practice. Like I said, we were doing extra run fits for 10 to 15 minutes every single day. Just fitting up counter with our base calls, fitting up their base runs versus our base calls. And once you knock that out in a rainy game, it's a real football game now. So once they get in the air, we're happy.
Kind of going off of that, Trent, you and Coach both earlier in the week talked about how dynamic and how much motion and trickery this offense can use. How much of what you guys were expecting from that did you see today?
Not a whole lot, and I think the weather definitely has something to do with that. Coach Hitch talked about, he swears they don't recruit a kid who can't pass a ball, but in the rain, you're not going to see a whole lot of double passes and stuff like that. So, they were just running their base plays, and we were running our base plays, and, we knew how to attack them, and that's what we went out there and did.
How do you feel that Coach Hitchler's game plan going into this game worked immediately, and you guys have to make any adjustments, if any, throughout the game?
There's always going to be adjustments. Always, guys going to be out of place sometimes, but we really make it up with effort. We do a big job. We meet as a unit 3 to 4 times as a week. Progressively, just talking about what they do. On base downs, regular downs, off schedule, third and long, third and short. Who are they really as a team? And we do this together. So we can all see and really get a gauge on what we're going against. And once you know what you're going against, once you know what you're going to do, you can think about how the offense is planning on how to attack you.
Statistically and on tape, this rushing defense has had a really good start to the season. Where is y'all's confidence level at, after this game?
I mean, it's been pretty high even before the game. You don't want to let a team run ball against you, especially in the red zone. That's our rules in the red zone. They don't run it in and they don't pass it to the flat. Anything quick to the flat. Because running the ball, as you see, as our offense did, it demoralizes the defense, especially during the rainy games like this. They keep pounding and pounding the ball. No one wants to be out there and play the game like that. So once you eliminate the run, it simplifies the game.
Trent, I know you guys like to focus one game at a time and don't really like to look back too often, but you were on the field for this game last year, and they won that game flat out. And so how much does a performance like tonight's really just make a statement for you guys and kind of help maybe eliminate that chip on your shoulder?
It just goes to show the growth of the players who were there and played that game, and it goes to show the growth of just this James Madison team. We're a different team than we were last year, and we watched the tape. We watched the self-scout, on what we did last year, what we lost on, how they might plan to attack us, and then we watched the stuff that we did this year versus what they did this year and see things that they plan to attack us on. And once you have a general idea on what you're going against, it just helps you play faster.
And you mentioned getting new guys in. And I wanted to ask you about this return game. I know usually it's the offensive guys that get the returns, but tonight Curtis Harris-Lopez with that touchdown return. What's it like watching a fellow defensive player get that?
I mean, defense holds it down at JMU. But it felt good, watching Kurt go out there and score that touchdown. Though, Kurt, we played a video game together. You know what I'm saying? That's how we really got our bond, close. And it feels good to watch my boy go out there and make a big play for the team.
I just want to follow up a little bit about maybe that chip on the shoulder last year.
Yeah.
One of the talking points going into this year was in conference play, maintaining those that were released today, just the performance as a whole consistent from start to finish. How big is that for this team?
I'm really proud of what the offense did out there today. Once you get a stop and the offense goes out there and they drive the ball all the way down the field with hard runs, 3-4 yards, keep doing that. That keeps us fresh and off the field, and that takes the energy level down on their sideline. And the energy is big in football. It's peaks and valleys in the game, and you really just want to crush the soul of the other team and stuff like that. It makes it easy to play. You get a stop, 3 and out, maybe they get a first down. Okay, so what? Stop them, get the ball back in our offense. They go drive the field and go score. That's what you want out of a football game.
Can you talk about the sequence at the end of the first half where there was the pump miscue and they started their possession deep in you guys' territory, but you guys were able to stand tall and get that 4th and 1 stop, and they don't get any points in that sequence? Did you feel like that was kind of like a momentum I don't know, get not that momentum shifted at all, but how big was that sequence just to hold them to no points there?
I mean, once the defense realized that we had to go out there and go play again, you know, it was smiles on our faces. You know, that's the moments that you want. You want to be challenged. You want to be put in a place where you have to go out there and really, really play with each other and really have to defend. You know what I'm saying? So the quick sudden change, you know, we got our minds right, got out there. Coach Hitch, you know, he talked to us, got our minds right. We went out there and we made a big stop, you know. And I'd like to shout out Drew Spin. You know what I'm saying? He's showing up again. He's getting better and better every single day. That was a huge tackle. Gannon Weathersby also made a huge tackle. And, you know, those are really effort and mindset things. You know, when you go out there and you know the offense is already in a scoring position, what are you going to do to stop them?
You guys have been really good on getting off the field on third down also so far, 4-14 today. What is Coach Hitchler's mentality? What does he say to you guys about third down, and how do you think you guys have done so far this year at that?
The defense tries to get them off schedule. You know, third downs are always more manageable and more in the defense's favor when you're off schedule. And, you know, you knock them back on first and second down. You know, third down is third down, but it really starts with the first 2 downs, you know. And depending on what you get, you know, you have to fight. And it's just a fight to get off the field, get the offense back out on there. You know, once you get a third down stop, you know, that's one of the best feelings in football as a defender.
How did you kind of go about, I guess, preparing for this week, seeing multiple names go down in the running back room? How did you kind of get yourself ready, knowing that you would probably be carrying a bit more of a load than you normally do?
It's always good to be level-headed, you know, regardless of the circumstance or wherever, you know, presents itself. But, you know, just going through the week, just being able to prepare and, you know, understand some of these guys went down. So, of course, the load is going to be a little larger. But, you know, I had Jordan right beside me, and he picked it up with me. So just being able to teamwork that.
Speaking of that, what was it like to have another guy run for 100-plus yards next to you?
Hey, I knew he was going to do it. You know, we got going early, and as soon as he got the ball, he kept making plays. And, you know, he had one call back that shouldn't have been called back. And, you know, with that, he would have having even more yards. So, you know, I got the most confidence in Jordan. I know every time he's going to step on the field, he's going to bring what he needs to the table.
Just kind of talk about the belief that you have in yourself, because I know that from the outside that there are going to be people who see that GP is out, Io is out, and maybe worry about it a little bit, but you kind of put that to the side quickly. I mean, you had a 40-yard touchdown run to start the game, too. So where is your confidence level at right now?
You know, you got to be confident in life, you know, regardless of, you know, whatever it is, you know, football and then things outside of football. So I kind of think just like my character and just how I carry myself, you know, just in an everyday life, just bringing confidence, you know, just translates to the field. And, you know, we go over these things. We do 100,000 reps of everything. And, you know, just being able to be sure-handed and knowing exactly what I got to do for the team.
And I know with conditions like it was out there today, the run game may need to be relied on a little bit more. What were you seeing out of Georgia Southern's defensive front that allowed you guys to capitalize? And I think it was 331 yards that you guys finished with on the ground.
You know, we just wanted it more. You know, we went out there. You know, we slapped them in the face from the start of the game, and you know, we just wanted it more. And you know, we dominated up front. You know, we got the guys in the backfield to do it, and you know, we executed on every opportunity that we got. So that's really it.
How big is it to just have those guys up front, knowing in this kind of a environment that is going to be run heavy, but then still being able to create those gaps, get you your separation?
It's huge. You know, a lot of them guys got a lot of snaps under their belt, and, you know, they go out there with the utmost confidence as well. Just, you know, just having 11 people on the same page at all times is going to be, you know, the recipe for success. And, you know, we displayed that today, how many rushing yards we had.
And I know one of the talking points going into this year with conference play is to be able to finish out games, a couple of those double-digit leads. For today to kind of have a performance like you guys did as a whole, how big is that to open up conference play kind of on the right foot?
You know, it's huge. It sets a tone early on, you know, in the conference. You know, everybody knows we're not coming to play. You know, we're going to come out there, we're going to start fast, we got to finish games. And that was a huge thing that we didn't do last year. So, you know, just keep emphasizing those little things in practice, you know, and it's translating in the game.
I know Katie asked you about confidence already, but is there anything that's changed for you besides that from last year, previous years going into this year, you think?
I think I attack every day, you know, with the same purpose and the same mentality. You know, from last year to this year, I just attack the days the same. And, you know, more opportunities present itself, and you just know you got to be out there. You got to go out there and you got to make the play. You know, Coach Chayton said it all the time. You're either, you know, revealed or you're exposed. And, you know, I think we reveal ourselves, you know, day in and day out, you know, and it starts in practice, like I said. So just being able to gain that confidence from practice, and then, you know, everyone else around each other, you know, just creates, you know, opportunities like this.
Amar, this is something I mentioned to Trent, but at the end of the first half, they had rushed for 34 yards, and by the end of the game, it was only 29. So you guys were getting after them in the run game. What were you guys seeing that allowed you to be successful there?
Honestly, we already knew it was going to happen. We already knew it was going to come. We watched the film. We practiced all week. We practiced hard, and we just communicated to each other. So stopping the run it was easy because we just did it all week, truly.
You guys were also able to get after J.C. French a little bit and make him a little unstable in the pocket. How much were you noticing that they were trying to move the ball quickly just because of how quickly you guys were able to get back there?
Say it one more time.
Did you notice at all kind of their offensive line, their quarterback maybe getting a little bit flustered with how quickly you guys were able to get back there?
Yes. That just goes back to Coach Hitch. We're a blitz-heavy defense. We're going to pressure you. We're going to execute our bullets and make sure we just get back there fast. Relentless.
Amar, for you specifically, I just want to know, what are you kind of working on in the past offseason? Where do you think your game has grown the most over your past couple of years here at JMU?
As I've said before, my eyes have improved, so everything slowed down. By watching films, just I was able to say I'm able to tell the D-line what's about to happen before it even happened. I can rerun pass because I'm watching the tendencies, little things like that. It's more so my pre-snap keys that evolved the most, and then now I'm using my hands too. So now we can't lose as a whole defense. We just can't lose.
I know Katie was just asking you about how quick you guys are able to get to J.C. French on some of those pass rushes. Is that something you guys sort of saw on film throughout the week? Because there were instances where you guys only had like 3 down linemen and you were still, all 3 of you, easily getting to French.
It goes back to us just being hungry. We wanted more. And we knew this was going to be a very physical game, but it came down who wanted more, who was going to last long, who was going to play all 4 quarters. And we practice it every day.
Do you feel like this kind of weather gives the defense, especially like in the trenches, any advantage?
Honestly, yes, because I'm the only one that didn't win in the rain game. Everybody else was excited. So, yes.
Jarvis asked this to Trent, but you guys, Georgia Southern got the ball deep in your guys' territory after a bad punt, but you guys were able to pretty much lock down and get off the field on 4th down. How much does that help momentum when you're that close to the half and you're able to get off the field on a 4th down?
To get off the field on the 4th down is amazing. I try not to smile until the end of the game, but that was actually amazing because we just worked hard. We just wanted more. I don't know what else to say. We just wanted more. We hungry.
And for you today, this probably was the perfect day to show just how deep this running back room is between you and Wayne and being able to carry the load. What was going well for you both in what Georgia Southern was presenting?
I think they presented a lot of what we expected in film study, and we prepared for it. And then the offensive line just played their butts off. You can't really ask for much more. And I think for me and Wayne, when the offensive line is playing that well, you kind of want to reward them by getting more than what's supposed to be there. What was supposed to be there was a lot, and then kind of just turning that into more. And, when you see the defense starting to break down fairly early, you could kind of feel in the first quarter that, it was starting to go for them, and they were kind of losing life a little bit. And when you kind of see that, it kind of pushes you even more and gives us more energy, even if we're a little bit tired as well. So I thought it was just kind of an all-around effort.
How did that first touchdown feel, especially after the one got called back?
It felt amazing. That first one, I was saying to radio, scoring a touchdown and then turning around and seeing that yellow flag on the field is probably the worst feeling in the world. Especially, it's my first in 365 days, I think. So I really, really wanted to get in again, and it felt amazing. It felt amazing, just not knowing what this year was going to look like, and not knowing really if I was going to even play football again after my last injury last year. It was special day for sure, and it's also my dad's birthday. Shout out my dad. So.
How special was it as well? I saw you and Coach Chesney sharing a quick little hug over on the sideline. For you, maybe to question if you were going to play or not, have that first touchdown. Him as your head coach.
Yeah, it's amazing. The trust that he put in me, even when I wasn't fully healthy when I committed here, to be honest, and even in the summer, kind of still getting back, and him just trusting me and bringing me here. Really meant so much to me. So for him to be kind of the first person that I really saw after kind of being just emotional for a second after scoring, was special. So that hug really, it felt good. And just kind of the things that he's done for my mindset and kind of my life in general. It's just kind of amazing. And yeah, it meant a lot. It's a cool moment, and he's a special guy.
There were multiple runs tonight where it seemed like there were just multiple guys kind of dogpiled on you, and you refused to go down. Then even when you are falling, it's like you're falling an extra 2 or 3 yards forward. What is going through your head when you're running through contact like that?
I mean, honestly, it's just that's kind of what I live for. That moment right there of people thinking that you're going to go down, and you can kind of feel when like a defender just thinks that you're going to go down or hopes you're going to go down, and that's kind of just my opportunity to just keep pushing. My whole mentality kind of when I'm running the ball is just have a low pad leveler and keep running your feet, which, sounds pretty simple, but, a lot of people don't do it. And that's kind of what I try to do. And then when that pile's going, I told the offensive line at halftime, it might sound a little cocky, but I just told them, like, I'm not going to go down. So just get behind the pile and push it. I'm expecting you to get there, so I'm going to just kind of stay up, even if I'm not really going anywhere, and just push me, and then we'll kind of get moving again. And we saw that on kind of that 7-minute drive in the fourth there that kind of put it away.
There's been a couple injuries in the interior of the offensive line, but you've got a couple freshmen set up, Trent Wilson being one of those guys.
Absolutely.
How much fun do you have running behind this offensive line, and any guys in particular that you've just really been blown away by their run blocking ability?
It's phenomenal. I mean, I don't really want to single anyone out because they all do their thing, and I don't want to miss anybody. Trent stepping up today as a freshman is amazing, and I think running behind a Coach Smith coached offensive line is the best thing in the world. I've got to do it for, this is year 3 or 4 now, and just the looks, the way he's able to prepare the offensive line, and then those guys with their ability, if they're prepared and know the looks they're going to see, it's really hard to beat.
You've been at Dean Kennedy for a little while, but how much fun is it to play with an offensive coordinator that's not afraid to run the ball?
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like he kind of feels me. He feels us on the field when we know something's working, and I kind of will like look up there sometimes and just kind of be like, let's go, like let's keep going. And he just wants to win, just like everyone in this organization. So he's not going to get his ego involved. It's rainy, it's hard to catch the ball. It's not, when you're an offensive coordinator, obviously you want to call stuff that's fun and, shows your expertise, but sometimes you just got to run it when it's working, and he did that today.
And I wanted to ask you about your former Holy Cross teammate, Curtis Harris-Lopez, and his kick return. Coach Chesney was saying that he was really impressed by his cutback and to get up the field. What was it like to see him have that moment so far in this season?
It was amazing. That's probably the happiest I've been in a long time because I know, obviously, we have a very talented backfield, so it's hard for Kurt to play every snap on defense. So to be able to make a huge impact in the game on special teams, something that I think he was just put in a few days ago to return the football. And the last really full game I played in, he returned a touchdown for Holy Cross. So that was amazing, and just to see the smile on his face after was cool.
Lacota, obviously a game like today, not sure how much the pass game is going to be involved, but for you get the touchdown pass and then the long of, 25. How confident were you going into a game like this of being able to be an option even with the weather?
Yeah, obviously going out pregame, you want to do what you think you're going to wear during the game, like gloves, no gloves, anything like that. Definitely just get a couple extra catches throughout pregame, knowing it was the only time we got rain the whole week. So I might have stayed out there an extra 10 or 20 minutes longer than I normally would. And then really just understanding, especially in the end zone, if you're in the end zone, you have one idea, and that's just to catch the ball. Obviously open field, you're trying to catch and run or catch and make a move or something. But when you're in the red zone, there's only one primary focus because it don't matter if you land on the ground or not. So getting that ball as my first ball throughout the game, it was just more of being able to lock into one actual point of just going up and making a catch.
For the last 2 weeks, Coach Chesney has been very complimentary of you guys as a tight end group and your ability to block for the running backs. What has been going well for you guys there?
Just being able to first start with the communication with the offensive line, because everything starts with the center to ID the front, things like that. And then our offensive tackles are great by relaying that down to us and then communicating what might happen and things like that. So it's just being able to play with confidence because you know what's about to happen, understanding what the front is, what the look is, if people are capped, if people are blitzing and things like that. And then just harping on the fact of like, it all starts with the offensive line, and as a tight end, you're almost addition to an offensive lineman. So to be able to like understand like the team does necessarily lean on you because like you have to lean on the offensive line a little bit. So being able to like have that and understand like I can make a huge impact just by blocking is definitely something that motivates me.
Lacota, Dean Kennedy moves around the tight ends a lot, lines up in the backfield. You got you on the slot sometimes. How much fun do you have in this offense? You know, kind of like how do you like playing in it?
I love it. It definitely helps you out for the fact of being able to show like how versatile we are and things like that, rather than just always lining up hand down, being able to spread out, being able to be the point man of the stack, being able to be the back man of the stack. So it just shows that you're more of an athletic tight end rather than just like a smaller offensive tackle and things like that.
Kind of going off of that, what has it been like, not just transitioning and like getting used to Kennedy's offense, but just playing on the offensive side of the ball?
I come from a small high school, play everything. Like I was our punter. Like that's just what it was. Like very small 2A school. So for me, I always done everything. Like I played basically receiver, and because like we just threw the ball. We threw the ball 50 times in high school. I played running back in the red zone, things like that. So being able to just grow up and being used at all different things, you just start to like understand like different type of like leverage and things like that. And then just from the offensive side, like my dad made the joke because I got a sack last year. So like he's like, not many people could say they got a sack and a touchdown and things like that because he wasn't at the Louisville game when I scored. So it is cool to like really think of that, like to be able to actually like when I came here and I was in the portal, like they told me like if we bring you here, it's for offense. Like defense is not in question. So being able to sit down, realize I am okay playing offense, and then investing in myself, like my teammates helped me out. Like I all summer would go with the receivers running routes just because I had to like get more fluent with that. Who's the most fluent route runners? Our receivers, things like that. If I'm trying to learn blocking, like I'm going with the offensive line things. So it was really just like my teammates definitely helped me with being able to transition back.
How's the defensive side of the ball made you a better offensive player?
I like to think and I like to know that it really helped me out with my football intelligence. And Coach Cannon, we've definitely had a meeting where he told me like I am like really smart when it comes to football. Just understanding, like I could tell you if a guy's blitzing or not, and a lot of people could. Receivers maybe as not much because like it doesn't really bother them. But I like to understand that if you have a pre-snap recognition of what's going to happen, it just helps you out so much. You play so much faster, you play so much more confidently and things like that. So understanding defense and like why a DN's back foot's up rather than his inside foot, or if he's playing a square stance, or like you could tell as soon as someone goes to long arm, that means because his job's to set the edge. So like it's just understanding what type of like the defense end's trying to do to me, that I actually fully understand why he's doing it. So it definitely helped me a lot.
With the staff saying you were definitely going to play offensive here, did you have a relationship? Did they recruit you in high school? Had they seen you kind of play both sides of the ball when they were telling you that?
Yeah, so in high school, I was committed to Holy Cross for like 6 months. Okay. So then at the end, things happened, but it all worked out. And, you know, when I first got here, like they'd bring it up, make a joke about it, but we all agree it all worked out now that I'm here with them. So, yeah, when I was committed to Holy Cross, I was committed up there for a tight end. And then at the very end of my recruiting process, I thought I was going to ask them to play defense, but instead I ended up just going somewhere else. And then coming here, they already seen me. They recruited me for 2 years, understanding I could play offense and things like that. So like they knew like they were going to get my toughness, my physicality, like my leadership and things like that. And then obviously all like the fundamentals, like you just have to bring those back out.